AITA for leaving the family dinner at a restaurant because they didn't save me a seat? So we have a yearly dinner at this very fancy restaurant for my aunt and uncle's birthdays. Twins. The table is a 10 top. 4 on each side and 2 on the end. I am admittedly running 5 minutes late finding a parking spot. But when I get there I finally find my family. There's only one problem. There's no seats available. I look over and see my cousin's kid who's like 4. Who I assume wasn't supposed to be there. My family greeted me and is asking me to pull up a chair. But there is none. This place is literally packed. Plus there's not a lot of room already at the table. So here I am. I'm already an introvert, standing there looking dumb in the middle of this big fancy restaurant. I told my aunt I'd try to go find a chair and literally just left. Throughout the dinner, I just texted them happy birthday and said that I didn't know what to do and left. I think they were pretty upset with me. Asshole might not be the right word, but neither is introvert. This sounds more like crippling social anxiety. This is not being an introvert. This is social anxiety. If you want to function in society, you need to address this with professional help. This will work against you in your career, love life and every other aspect. You need to be able to advocate for yourself. As a serious introvert, I can wholeheartedly understand why you left. But YTA, because there were so many things to do other than lie and leave. You could have asked restaurant staff to help with table seating. You could have asked family members you're more comfortable with to assist in making space. Barring a seating solution, which I'm positive would have been found, you at the very least should have said your apologies and goodbyes in person rather than say you were going to find a solution and then just dip out of awkwardness. YTA. I feel like I'm losing my mind reading these comments. From one introvert to another. Pull yourself together. Sometimes you have to deal with unexpected situations. That's just life. You turned up late and there was one extra person there. This isn't a major crisis. If you can't find a chair, ask a waiter. Then ask people to scooch. If there literally isn't a single chair in the entire restaurant, then fine, say you're leaving and be on your way. Walking out without saying anything was a ridiculous move. YTA. First off, I'm an introvert and I can go to a restaurant just fine. You are describing something more akin to agoraphobia or intensive social anxiety. To the point you can't even speak to your family. Rather than simple introversion, going to a restaurant is NBD. Asking for another chair is NBD. Respectfully, if this is how you conduct yourself, it seems like you need some professional support because this behavior is not normal. YTA. You just had to ask a waiter or host to set a place for you. It's literally their job to help. I am really tired of seeing people use the fact they are an introvert as the reason they can't do basic human interactions. I'm an introvert too, but I can ask for help. It was impolite to leave without saying anything. I don't understand why everyone's saying YTA. They didn't even save you a seat. They should have known to move the kid. Recently decided I am not staying anywhere I'm not even considered. I'm tired of stating the obvious. This was obvious. Info. I see a lot of comments about the 4-year-old, so I'm just going to straight up ask op. You wrote that you assumed the child wouldn't be there. Do you know that they were or were not invited? TBH, I get it, it sucks being an introvert. But it's kinda rude to just walk out, not wish the birthday guests happy birthday because you felt slighted. I'm gonna have to go with Esh. If you are having a party at a restaurant, you save a seat for the entire party. You tell the restaurant how many people are coming and they make sure there's that many at the table. It sounds like your family did not bother doing that, or brought someone who wasn't meant to be there without telling the restaurant. So that's on them. They hold the responsibility for causing the circumstances that led to the situation. However, leaving without saying something is not really good either. I get it as an introvert with anxiety. But if there's no seats, you can just tell them that you don't really have to ask the staff. If your anxiety is acting up, you can just pretend, "Hey, I checked, there's no seats. I guess I'll have to leave." You could even leave and just say in the text, "I'm really sorry. There was nothing to be done. There are no seats." You should have handled the leaving better. Learning moment for next time. Managing anxiety in these situations is not easy, but it is something we need to learn to do. If they are upset with you, I'd have a talk with them and frankly explain the situation. Anxiety is a mental illness and deserves respect, and once you explain that, many people will do so. I'm not entirely certain what is wrong with the commenter here, but your NTA. If they wanted you to join, they would have had a chair there for you. I applaud you for bailing. I would like to hear from anyone who works at a restaurant to see what they think about a full table asking for another chair on a slammed night. Pain in the ass or just a normal thing? NTA. If you make reservations for 10, it's for 10 people, not 11, not 12, 10. If there wasn't room to squeeze in another chair, there wasn't room. And if there was, the child should have to sit in it because they're smaller and don't need the elbow space. Did the people saying NTA miss the part where Op straight up lied about trying to find a seat and just up and leaving without saying anything? YTA Op. There were many things you could have done before just leaving. 1. Ask the parent of the child if the child could sit on one of their laps. 2. Ask a waiter for a chair. 3. If that's too much for you, ask a family member to ask for you. 4. You simply could have told them you were leaving instead of being a coward and lying. You refer to the cause of you leaving to you being an introvert, and most comment address this. But I think the real reason why you felt like leaving like that is that you felt hurt because no one thought of saving you a chair and no one got up to help you out and take some action to sort out the situation with you. Did you feel excluded, and maybe you don't want to word it like this because it feels childish? Some people may be triggered by something like this, especially if you have an ongoing frustration due to feeling you're often taken for granted, not at the center of attention, which may be the case if you're an introvert. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm projecting a lot here, but I think it's a combination of things. I don't like to jump to black, white YTAs or NTAs when I feel there's much more I don't know to an issue than the single episode brought up here. Maybe you didn't mean to be rude or make a statement by leaving, but you felt overwhelmed with negative emotions linked to previous experiences and couldn't cope with it in that moment. IDK y'all. I'm not a Gen Z, and I think it's a little inhospitable not to ensure there are enough seats for everyone you invited to your birthday dinner. I think Op probably feels hurt. I kinda get it. Automod, thanks for posting. This comment is a copy of your post so readers can see the original text if your post is edited or removed. This comment is not accusing you of copying anything. Read this before contacting the mod team. So we have a yearly dinner at this very fancy restaurant for my aunt and uncle's birthdays. Twins. The table is a 10 top. 4 on each side and 2 on the end. I am admittedly running late, but when I get there I finally find my family. There's only one problem. There's no seats available. I look over and see my cousin's kid who's like 4, who I assume wasn't supposed to be there. My family greeted me and is asking me to pull up a chair, but there is none. This place is literally packed. Plus there's not a lot of room already at the table. So here I am. I'm already an introvert, standing there looking dumb in the middle of this big fancy restaurant. I told my aunt I'd try to go find a chair and literally just left. Throughout the dinner, I just texted them happy birthday and said that I didn't know what to do and left. I think they were pretty upset with me. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. A lot depends on whether there really were no other seats or enough room to put one. It sounds for sure like this was a reservation-only type place, so the minute that someone extra showed up, 4-year-old, the person who made the reservation should have told the waitstaff that they needed room for one more. So there were a lot of failures here. The person who brought the extra person should have told someone. The person who made the reservation didn't say anything. Neither did any of the other family members. You could have asked the waitstaff if there was a way to get another seat. You could have also said something before you left if there wasn't any way. No one covered themselves with glory here. You have your answer. The place was crowded. I looked for another chair. There weren't any. I'm not going to stand there. So I left. Stop being mad. No one else offered to help me find a solution. So STFU. Quote. YTA. Since when is being an introvert an excuse for not being able to act like an adult? I see this all the time and it just pisses me off. You were late. There weren't any seating left. So the thing you should have done was go find a host to get you a chair. Then find a place to squeeze in. So instead you just run away without telling anyone? That was seriously rude and immature. It could have worked. You just didn't want it to. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.